Hey guys, Eric here from 7th Circle Hobbies. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a skeletal portal. So I begin with using a pizza round and leaving about 90% of it on the foam, leaving just the very bottom off to make a flat edge. And then I use a smaller round object for the inner portal. It doesn't really matter what size you use here. This is 1-inch thick XPS. Then use my Proxxon to cut it out. If you don't have access to one, you can always use a good sharp utility knife. If it comes out a little rough, don't worry about it. We're going to smooth this over in a later stage. You're going to want to go ahead and repeat the process for the interior of the portal as well. So in my sketch, I knew I wanted to use the skull with the wings as the centerpiece. And some of these plastic parts have mold lines. I just used a sharp knife to kind of trim those down and get them off. You can see here, next step would be to glue this to your base. I also strengthened this with toothpicks, you can see in the video here. So I used some Hearst Arts mold flagstone here, but you can just use sand or carve up tiles on your own. You don't have to use these if you don't have access to them. I just had a bunch lying around and decided to use them. So the size of the base is just a little under 4 inches by 8 inches. This is part of a monthly contest I participate with Encounter Terrain. I'll link his channel up to the top, and you can find him on Instagram. And I'll post links for that. But I knew I wanted to leave a path here, so I wanted to be able to enter the portal, and I wanted to do some water effects that I'll show you on later on in the video. Here's where the build went a little bit out of order. I decided I needed to do some stone texture to the pink foam just to give it some rough appearance of hewn stone. And this is when you really want to think through your process. I decided to start gluing down these spines around the column because I thought it looked so cool. And then I thought right as soon as I was finished gluing the last piece that I should have not only spackled for extra texture, but also Mod Podge before I glue any of these pieces down. I would have had a little bit of touching up to do one way, and then this turned into just a nightmare to get into all these little nooks and crannies with the spackling and the Black Magic Craft Mod Podge. So think about your process when you're doing a project like this. It will pay dividends in time saved. So my stone painting technique is pretty standard and basic. I lay the first coat down in a dark pewter gray craft paint, just getting in pretty much a heavy dry brush. Then I move to a lighter gray, followed by a suede color. But you can use any combination of craft paints that you might have on hand. The trick here is to just apply lighter and lighter dry brushes as you go up in scale. So the snowflakes are almost entirely PVA glue and baking soda with a few of these other products mixed in, but you don't want to spend any money. Get $1 bin of baking soda and some glue and you can make some really nice effects. Now I'll add a link to last week's video in case you missed it, where I covered these products pretty extensively. But with the baking soda method, what's going to happen eventually is that the baking soda will oxidize and turn yellow. Well, you don't want yellow snow. So when you're finished, completely finished with the project, you're going to want to seal it with a clear matte varnish so that your white does not turn yellow over time, and that should do it for you. So the last couple parts of this video is completely optional. I'm going to show you how to make some melted snow and Tufts effects. You just use some army painter straight up out of the box, glue them down where I think bushes might be popping out from the deep thaw, and then I used some Vallejo still water effects. Now I had a few drinks at this point. You do not need to use this much, and I would definitely tape up anywhere where you might be using this unless you're really careful. I had a little bit of spillage the next day and it was a mess to clean up, so just be careful with it, and a dab will do you. Okay, and the final thing I'll show you here is how to get some smoke effects going. I was originally inspired by Blackmagic Craft's video on this. I'll link it in the description. But essentially you just want to get a cheap tea light and a hot glue some polyfill to it. It's the stuff that you fill pillows and teddy bears with. You can get it at Walmart or any of your local craft stores. And you're going to glue a good fluff of that around your tea light. Shape it to as small or as big as you'd like. And this stuff falls off pretty easily, so you're going to want to get a good bead or two around your base, and then you're going to hit it with either a good matte varnish or Mod Podge spray, and it'll stiffen it up and you can shape it where you want and kind of trim or cut it down to size. And the last thing you'll do once it's stiff is hit it with some black rattle can paint, and heavy towards the base and lighter towards the top, and you're done.